Hi there guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Matthew, and in today's video I'm going to be talking you through how to go about making a premium grade soy candle. What is a premium candle? In my opinion, a premium candle is a candle that has a scent throw that fills the room. So you can smell the candle wherever you are in the room. Unlike the other type of candles, the candles that don't function so well, where you can only smell it maybe in one corner or you can't even smell it at all. So that's largely down to the quality of the oil. It's if you think about it a little bit, a scented product only gets its scent from the oil. So the better the quality oil you can use, then the stronger that scent's going to be in normal cases. If you are to use oils that are not specifically made for candles, what happens is when you light the candle after it's been made and you've put the oil in, the flame is so hot that it just burns off the scent from that oil straight away. Once it's melting the wax, the flame actually burns off any scent straight away. So then that's why you need to be using a premium quality or fragrance oil that has ingredients within the oil that can withstand the heat from the flame, that then allows the oil to warm up and rise up the wick and not just evaporate under the heat of the flame, which then allows it to disperse into the room and you get a strong scent throw. However, it's really difficult to find premium quality oils in the UK, so I live in the UK. Anyone watching this from abroad, specifically talking about UK oils here, they're really hard to find. There's not many companies selling premium quality oils. It largely comes down to the price. The better ingredients that go into oil, the slightly the higher the price is going to be. That's the same with anything. Over the course of the last year, I spent my time working with fragrance oil manufacturers in trying to develop oils that are of premium quality but at a reasonable price that can actually be sold and still make a tiny profit from it, give you guys an even better fragrance oil that works well in candles and wax melts. There's a lot to be said about why you should be using a premium quality oil over a cheaper quality oil, let's put it that way. And it comes down to quality. It's not to do with the strength of the oil or the concentration. I know a lot of people market 100% concentration and a strong fragrance oil. They're just words. Every fragrance oil is 100% concentration because that's what oil is. It's down to the quality of the ingredients that are within the oil that help it to function better than others. So on my website now, rusticbarncandles.co.uk, I've got an array of fragrance oils that are all of a premium quality. They all work well in candles and amazing in wax melts. There's a strong justification for using better quality fragrance oils, especially in your products. Why you should use premium quality ingredients when you're making your products. Just to explain it very quickly now, there's a lot of competition out there, so using a premium oil helps you to stand out amongst them. Using a premium oil helps you to charge a bit more, which helps you to give a bigger profit margin. And it's the repeat buyer factor. This is the most important one, the repeat buy from your customers. If your customers are not buying again, then there's something wrong with your products. I'm averaging, on the customers that buy from me, I average between 40 and 50% of those customers buy again a second time. So let's just call it half of my customers buy again from me. And then that goes on. Some of them stay with me and keep buying for continuous. Obviously these are luxury products, they're not something that's bought all the time. But if you're getting somewhere between 40 and 50% of your customers are repeat buying, then you're doing very well. Then you've got business. If you're just getting customers that are just buying one-offs now and then, well, not now and then, you're just getting customers that just buy one-off but not again, then you're really going to struggle in your business to grow a business, because you really need that repeat buy from customers to grow. But again, I'm going to talk massively about this subject in the marketing video, which will probably be the next video I do actually. Just wrapping up a few things now for that video, but yeah, that'll be the next one comes out. That'll be a really good video to watch. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, do so now, so then you'll be made aware when that one comes out. So I'm going to dive in now to show you how to go about making this premium candle. The wax I'm going to be using today is CB Advanced Wax. This is what I use in all of my candles. The oils is going to be from my line. I've got an array of oils to show you here, but the one I'm going to be using is fresh coffee. The reason for that is because that is by far my highest selling fragrance oil and candle. So in terms of my fragrance candle, that's by far the highest selling one. Fresh coffee is just, put it this way, it sells twice as many and more than my next best selling candle. Yep, some of the tools that you will need to go about making your candle is a heat thermometer. So I've got an infrared thermometer here, tells you the temperature when you're melting your wax. That's very important for when you're adding your oil to the wax. I've got a heat gun to warm up my container. I'm using the tins here. Stirring spoon, melting jug, a measuring gauge to measure out the exact amount of oil that you need, again a very important process, and a pair of scales. Also not to forget a glue gun. So I use a glue gun, this is the glue sticking out the back, to stick down my, my wick in my tin. I've just got a little straw plunger here, so this is not a straw, it's like a hard, I can't remember where I got these from, I've got quite a few of these, but they're like a straw but they're very hard, so they don't bend, so you can push it down into the middle. And then lastly, just to hold the wick in place, just a wick stabiliser. I'm going to be using the metal tin, so I make all my candles at the minute in these metal tins. I've got my Christmas orders I'm just doing now, and that is, so far that's 8,000. So I've done 6,000, just got 2 more thousand to go, but they go into these size containers, hold 170 grams, so it's a decent sized candle. Yeah. So we'll get this one made for you now and show you how to go about making it. So the first thing to do is to measure out the wax and get that melted down. So as I said in the intro there, I'm going to be measuring 170 grams of wax. So put your tin on the scale. Obviously the tin is going to have a weight to it, so you want to, after you put it on, set the scale to 0. So it's at a 0 weight now. And then you want to put in there however much wax you want to be using in your container. So I'm using 170 in mine. So there's the 170 grams weighed out. For this single candle here, I'm just using a double boiler method, just a saucepan with some water in it and melting the wax. Now, when I make my candles in huge batches, I use this big melter here. It holds up to 90 kilos. And obviously just dispense out there into a huge jug. Mix that up. Probably pour out about 3 kilos at one time. And yeah, making loads of candles in one go. So I'm going to be melting this wax to 75 degrees Celsius. And I'll be using the infrared thermometer once that's melting down to keep a track of the temperature. You don't want to overheating it. 75 is perfect. Here's a quick look at some of my oils. These are all from the premium line. You've got some of your dupe ones, your perfume dupes. Fresh Coffee at the end there, an amazing seller. Invictus, another great selling perfume one. Savage, amazing. Aromatic Woods, if you're going to try one of my ones, definitely try Aromatic Woods. Lemon Chiffon, an amazing, not too overpowering with the lemon. Thousand Wishes, another top seller. And Creed, an amazing dupe, that one. But yeah, there's many oils available. The important thing is they must be premium, otherwise they're not going to work in candles. All of my fragrance oils in the premium range work amazingly in candles. Okay, so a top tip on how to get a better scent flow from your candle is when it comes to adding the oil. Now when you buy your wax, there's normally a recommended temperature to add the oil to that wax. Don't follow that. The reason being is because the wax doesn't know the quality of the oil that's going to be going into it. So it has no reference or no relevance of how good your oil is going to be to how it's going to function in the finished product. You have to add your oil at the right temperature for the oil, not for the wax. So that's just an average guide. So the wax gives an average recommended, hey, just add all your oils at this temperature. That'll work for some, it won't work for others. I'm not saying it's not going to work, but it's not going to work for a high quality candle. If you want to produce a high quality candle, you need to find the right temperature for whatever your oil you're using, and every oil has different ingredients, so every oil is going to work better at a different temperature. How do you know what temperature is correct for that particular oil? You only know through testing. That's why you might hear a lot of people say test, 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 test. What they're saying is test to find the right temperatures that work well for the oil you're using. However, for all of the oils on my website, I've done hundreds and hundreds of tests, and they've all got the correct temperatures of when to add those particular ones. So for every oil I sell, they've all got a temperature guide which tells you the correct temperature to add that oil to your wax. It took me a long time to do all that testing, and percentages as well, because you don't need to use all of my oils at 10%. Although they might cost a little bit more because they're a premium oil, you don't need to use them at 10%. Because the scent flow is so strong, you can get away with using 7%, 8%, which then you might get an extra wax melt or an extra candle out of the bottle. So in effect, you're spending the same amount than you would anyway, because you get an extra product from it. So that is a top tip for anyone who wants to make premium candles. Find the right temperature for your oil. Whatever oil you're using, whether it's from me or from someone else, find the right temperature and you'll get a better scent flow. I'm just going to glue the wick into my tin now. I use a glue gun to do mine. You can use the sticky pads, but I just find it quicker to use a glue gun. So make sure your glue is nice and hot before you do this. Put a bit of glue on the back. You see it oozing out of the glue gun when it's nice and hot. Straight on the back. Put lots on there. I use this as my compressor. You can just use your hands if it's a small tin. Aim for the middle and push it down hard. You can use your fingers just to push it off at the end. It's properly glued down, and eyeballing it, that's pretty much centre. If you've got a centering tool, I've got centering tools, but sadly not for this size, but I normally use centering tools for my other size tins. I do a wider tin. Whilst the wax is still melting, I'm going to weigh out my oil. So we're using fresh coffee. I've got this little measuring jug here, it's what I put mine in, or small batches anyway. So put it on the scale, set the scale to 0 again. That's now at 0. So if I take that off, that'll go down to a minus because it's taking the weight of this back to 0. Right, and I'm going to be using 10% of this fresh coffee. So if you look on the product page for fresh coffee, the suggested percentage is 10%. That's because you can't really go wrong with fresh coffee. It's such a good smell. Whereas like the stronger ones for aromatic wood, I think that's 9%. And ones like Creed again, 9%, 8%. But yeah, I can't remember exactly, I've got so many fragrance oils, but check on the product page and you'll see the percentage. Fresh coffee is 10%. So we've got 170 grams of wax, 10% is going to be 17 grams. So I'm just using a pipette here. Again, when I'm doing small batches, just a glass pipette. And there you go, 17.009. You always take a bit out. If you want to be bang on precise, I do like to be precise. There you go, 17 grams of oil. Quick tip, try and get a scale with 2 decimal places. If you're getting a scale with no decimal places, you don't know if that says 17.99, so you're almost at 18 grams. You wouldn't know that, so try and get a scale that's got 2 decimal places. Okay, I've just taken the oil off the heat. It's all melted down now, so we'll take the temperature of that. It's now just at 70, bang on 70, so we've just taken it off, and that's the correct temperature to melt our wax to. So obviously now it's in liquid form. Right, so if you look on my website at whatever fragrance oil you're using, they'll tell you a temperature which is the correct temperature to add your oil to your wax. For fresh coffee, it's 65 degrees. Everyone is different. Some are going to be the same, 65, some are going to be 66, some 67, some 68. But for whatever oil you're looking at, go to the product page, scroll down, and it tells you the guide. It will give you the recommended temperature to add your oil to your wax. So we've got our fresh coffee oil here measured out. We're going to add this to the wax when this wax gets to 65 degrees. If I didn't say already, the wick I'm using is a TB wick size 12. For these tins, it just works perfectly. So we're at 67.2, getting close to 65. Try and be as precise as you can. Obviously you might think, what's 1 degrees? It does make a big difference. So yeah, if the oil works best at 65 when you add it to the wax, then add it at 65. Try and be as precise as you can. Just going to take the temperature again now. So now just at 64, so it's gone a little bit cool, but I think I took the reading on the edge there. So 64.5, try and take your reading in the middle of your container. So 64.5, as I was talking, I've let it get away from me, but that's alright. So you just add that straight in, keep stirring. This is very important that you keep stirring now. Let it all drip in. Right, don't stop stirring, keep stirring. People ask me, what temperature do you then add the liquid wax to your container? I say it doesn't matter. Keep stirring for 1 minute, maybe a minute and a half, and then just add. At that point it doesn't matter too much. What I do is I warm up my containers with a heat gun. Just so then, because the container's a lot colder, you don't want to shock your wax by, as soon as you pour it in, it's going to start cooling down very quickly. I don't want that, I want it to cool down slowly. So I'm stirring and I'm warming up my container at the same time. These warm up really quickly, so you don't need to do too much to them. If it's a glass container, it takes a bit more heat. Alright, so that's been about a minute now. I've been stirring continuously. Now I just pour that straight in. Try not to pour too quick because you don't want to get any air bubbles. There, just about perfect. So we use measured out perfectly. Right, so the volume of ingredients that's gone into here is 170 grams of wax plus 17 grams of oil. So the total contents is 187 grams, okay? That would be your net weight. Lastly, get your wick stabilizer just to get that just to get that wick to stay straight in the middle. You want it staying straight up, so when it melts, it burns going, so when the wick burns, it burns going straight down, not at an angle. You see there, the wick's going straight down the middle, so that's going to burn perfectly later on. Right, so a point now. This will have to cure for 2 weeks. So I leave all my candles to cure, meaning go hard, for 2 weeks. I never light mine before then. Okay guys, that's pretty much it. We've now made our premium quality candle, and you saw how easy it is. It really is not hard. It's just about having the right ingredients to put into the candle. Your candle's only going to be as good as what goes into it. So yeah, premium quality oils, rusticbarncandles.co.uk. I also do free CLP labels as well, so that's another thing as well I forgot to mention earlier on. If you've watched towards the end of this video, you gain the benefit of knowing that you get free CLPs with all of my oils. So you get 24 CLP labels, So that's one sheet, 24 labels on that sheet per fragrance oil that you order. You order 5 fragrance oils, you get 5 sheets. Each sheet has 24 labels. Read online what you have to do, just give me your personal details and that will be put onto your CRP labels. Good quality wax, make sure you're using a good quality wax. So CB Advanced wax, that's what I use in all of my candles, very good wax. And near enough equally as good wax in my opinion to Make Soy container wax. Remember, we're making container candles, it's got to be a wax that's designed for containers. So Make Soy container wax, so that's another soy wax. I don't use paraffin, I don't think it gives a stronger scent throw. Some people say it gives a stronger scent throw, I don't find that. If you're using the right oils, you get a strong scent throw using a soy wax. There's more benefits using a soy wax than there is a paraffin wax. Another topic that is anyway. I will do a comparison of soy versus paraffin in another video though, not enough time in this one. So yeah, so all I'm going to do now is I'm going to let this harden, then I'm going to trim the wick down to the right height, then I'm going to put the lid on and that will sit for 2 weeks. Then you can light it. So this is just one I made for me, so I'll be lighting that in 2 weeks time. Fresh coffee is my fragrance scent. So if you go to light it before 2 weeks, one, the wax is not going to have hardened enough, so you might get some tunneling. The wick might burn straight down the middle a lot easier than it would if it was left to harden a bit more. Then you get a nicer melt pool. You want your melt pools to be melting all the way to the edge of your container. That gives a better scent throw. If it's only melting halfway, then you've only got half the size pool of liquid wax to give you a scent throw. So you're not going to get as strong scent throw. The bigger the melt pool, the better the scent throw. So I'm going to wrap this video up now. I hope you've learned something and you can actually see how easy it is to make candles. Obviously I've only made a very small batch here, a batch of 1. If I was going to be making a bigger batch, which I will be from tomorrow, I'll be starting on the remaining 2,000 of these. I'll be using my big melter downstairs that I showed you. I'll be melting, I probably start with about 45 kilos and then I just keep adding after that. I use a big jug, big jugs, many of them. So then I'm just pouring out many candles as we go. I would wick the tins. I'd have hundreds of tins laid out, all pre-wicked already. So what I've got to do, I've got hundreds of these wick stabilizers, and just go around pouring in my wax and fragrance oil into the tins. It's not that hard. You can really make a lot of candles quickly if you get the processes right, and obviously if you've got the right tools for the job, you can make a lot of candles really quickly. Or wax melts. If you're making wax melts, it's the same sort of thing, you just don't have a wick obviously. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Any comments, please add it into the comments box and I'll go ahead and answer all those questions. Feel free to visit my website, rusticbarncandles.co.uk, where you can have a look at all my oils and other stuff that I sell as well. Definitely subscribe to my YouTube channel. The next video is going to be really good, so it's going to be a pricing and marketing video. So I'm going to go into quite some depth in that video of why are the bigger companies doing so well compared to, let's call it, the average newbie producer. Some really good points going to be in that video, so subscribe to the channel, give this video a thumbs up. Thank you very much for watching, hope you've learned something and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.